shoes. This is Neutral Voices, we gon' deal with the issues.
Welcome to Neutral Voices, the place where your voice matters. And this is our What's Going On segment. And there's a lot going on in Minnesota.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
All right. What do we know? What's going on? I know we got the verdict in.
Yes,
Tell us all about it.
The verdict has been rendered, and the jury found Derek Chauvin guilty of all 3 counts. It was murder in the second degree, manslaughter in the second degree, and murder in the third degree. Now, the definition of these charges: murder in the second degree, unintentional murder. The charge is without intent, while committing or attempting to commit a felony or third-degree assault. In turn, third-degree assault is defined as the intentional infliction of substantial bodily harm. So he was convicted on the second-degree unintentional murder. He was also convicted on third-degree murder, which alleges that he caused imminent danger to a person that with a depraved mindset, which means that he knew what he was doing, but didn't have any concern to what he was doing. That's the depraved mindset. Hold on. Okay. Just get this out and then we can talk. Then it says second degree manslaughter, which is the most simplest, and as we can say simplest of the charge, because they just said he was just negligent in the death of George Floyd. He didn't mean to do it. It was an accident, however you want to classify it. It's saying that he was not culpable of actually intentionally causing his death. But he did cause his death. So they're saying that second degree manslaughter is an accidental coincidence of, whatever he did, and that caused George Floyd's death.
Wouldn't that conflict with the one right above it?
It would, but since they grouped them all together, they all fit in line. Because he was, and the reason I believe the third degree manslaughter, the second degree manslaughter is, in the third degree murder is because he was acting in his job, and he thought, he was doing his job.
Well, then that conflict with the first one then.
Well,
and I would agree with that one. But the only reason that one is because, the second one is, it's a conflict because, that's what they were trying to defend. And I think that's what his defense attorney tried to say is that, it was within the actions of his job.
That's not within the actions of your job.
Well, that's why they say he had some depravity, which means that he had a mindset that he knew it was wrong, but he didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, I know y'all counting them down and breaking them down and all of that. And 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
All I was thinking about is, for this situation, sin did not win, and we got a guilty verdict 3 times.
Right.
So, and that's, to me, that's what matters.
But here's the biggest question.
Yes.
What's next?
What's next? They already marching. So the thing is, we're marching towards justice.
No.
Hopefully.
When I say what's next? Literally. Are we going to be satisfied with the guilty verdict? Or do we push on and literally say, hey, now we really need you all to reevaluate what's going on, reevaluate the laws and the rules.
Absolutely.
I think the Minnesota Attorney General was speaking after this, and he said his intent, and that's what he said, intent. Because you got to understand, it's legislature, so he can propose it, but if they don't pass it, then there's nothing he can do. But his intent is to make changes to the policing in Minnesota, and hopefully it'll spread throughout the country. That's his intent. And again, it's all due to legislation and what they pass and what they do.
Well, I know that we could dig super deep into this, but this is not the night for that. But I just want to say, I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Yes, the guilty verdicts, it's amazing. It's great. Mm-hmm. However, there are so many black men that are serving prison time for, being caught with a plant during a traffic stop. And they're thrown in jail like it's no big deal. But it feels like we have prayed for a miracle just to be able to say that this gentleman, an officer who is supposed to serve and protect, we prayed for a miracle for him to pay for basically a public lynching of a black gentleman. That's how I look at it. So, I mean, we have a long, 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 long way to go.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
Jill, and I agree with you. And that's why I said, hopefully this is a march towards justice. So this is definitely not the end of the road. And, and I understand the people that's celebrating and especially the people that's there and they're happy that, they don't have to destroy the city or the city, is still standing after
Yeah.
this verdict, because who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, when you say that, I mean, there's so many other things. So not just the ones that was caught with the trees in the car, but there's so many other,
Right.
and not just black people, but
Right.
innocent people.
Innocent people.
Men
Innocent
and
people
women that's,
they're in prison.
in prison. And so, yes, it's all about, and I know people, the focus is black, black, black. But the truth is, when I say a march toward justice, is I'm speaking of justice for all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everybody. So,
And Doc V, we spoke about this maybe a week or two ago, and you asked me, what did I see justice as? And I just wanted to see justice. And my response is, I just want to see if the crime is X, Y, and Z, and the charge is X, Y, and Z, I want the sentence to be fitting of X, Y, and Z. And I think we're there. But also, I'm going to tell y'all how I knew that they were going to find him guilty.
how did you know?
There was no military presence in Minnesota. Remember
Exactly.
when they dropped the charges in Kentucky
Yeah,
for
right.
Breonna Taylor?
For Breonna
the
Taylor.
day before, they had the
They
National
were
Guard in there.
prepared.
They had everything boarded up. They didn't have that in Minnesota. So they knew that a guilty verdict was imminent. So
Yeah,
that's why
it had to come down because when you got the head coroner said on the paper it was
Murder.
a homicide,
Yeah.
there's nothing else need to be said.
Yeah.
But like he said, there was no military presence in Minnesota,
Yeah.
so they already knew what was going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, some things I have to say that I'm pleased about, dealing with this particular case, is that the police actually testified against
The
police.
police, yes.
They
Yes.
actually told the truth.
Right.
So
Right.
that in itself, the transparency of the police department, I believe that, that was a major.
Now then the
situation.
other two guys that was waiting testified against him as well.
I don't know. I don't know. But that's the next question. You asked what is next. Now, are the other three, because it was three,
Yeah, the other three. I'm
Oh.
sorry.
are the other three going to face charges now? That's true justice.
Yeah.
Because they stood around and watched, especially the Asian gentleman, which was his brother-in-law when we come to find out. Are they going to be charged? Because they
Probably.
participated.
Accessory to murder.
Gotta be.
Just like
Gotta be.
If I shot somebody, you with me? Hey, you accessory.
Yeah, it got to be. So that will be the final justice. That will be true justice. If everybody that was involved in the death of George Floyd is charged, is convicted, and do have to serve a good amount of time.
Correct.
So I believe this was what we say, a protest of unity, a protest to victory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, sometimes it's good to know that all of your work wasn't in vain.
Right.
Correct.
And so, and I believe we can safely say, as they're marching down the street to the next trial
Yes.
for Dante Wright.
Dante Wright, yes.
Dante Wright. So marching down there to, obviously to support that family and to stand strong with them. Now, did you hear the judge try to go against Maxine Waters with the comment when she was talking about confrontation?
Right. I think earlier his Chauvin's attorney was trying to get a mistrial on that.
They were.
Yeah, they were trying to get a mistrial on that. Whatever Maxine Waters said, they were trying to say that it coerced the jury or whatever. But I think the jury was sequestered, weren't they?
Yes.
But the point is, I did hear, the things that she said, but the point is that she was just saying that we need to be more confrontational, but she was using it in a sense as Dr. King,
Right.
how they were back in the day, even when they did the sit-ins,
Right.
et cetera, and it was a peaceful protest. So just speaking from that aspect.
Right.
But of course they were, trying to find some other
Right.
angles and all of that. So, so things happen the way they did. But moving forward, thinking about his family, I think that's the good part.
Right.
But as you say, it will continue, and we will talk about it. So
Yeah.
and see how things go with that moving
Well,
forward.
and we'll talk about this tomorrow or at a later time. But sadly, in Columbus, Ohio, as they announced the verdict, there was a 15-year-old young lady. The police were called, and she was shot and killed. The details are sketchy right now, but what they're saying is preliminary is that there was some kind of altercation, but the officer pulled up with no questions. She may have had a weapon. She may not have a weapon. That's what I'm saying. Some of the sketchiness
Right,
is. I
so
don't have
far.
the full details,
Right.
but they said he shot her on sight without any questions or anything.
See, and you said this was happening while
While
the,
they were
the verdict
reading the
was-
verdict, yes.
You know something? I know a little bit about what you were talking about, and it's crazy. This is a 15-year-old child. He's a grown man.
A trained
you know
grown
what?
man.
A
But you know
trained
what?
grown man.
But you
No,
know
hold
what?
on. A
Okay, come
trained
on.
grown man. There's no reason to shoot a child. Period.
But wait. I mean, and I'm definitely for
There's
that.
no-
I
there's no
understand.
reason.
But listen to this now. How old was the young man that just killed the 8 people in the? Where was that?
In Indianapolis, he was 19.
That's right.
He was 19.
I'm just
that was a
saying.
man.
That was a man.
Well, but I'm just saying
That was a man.
But listen, if you have you seen him? When you look at that, when I saw him, he looked like he was 15. To
Well,
me,
I'm just saying,
My
this
point is, they never know. I get that.
I can see
side
that point.
too.
I get that point.
So
I can
we
go
don't
with you
know,
on that.
and
But-
I'm
but
saying I
you are
think it's too
trained.
soon. And I agree with you.
You are
no, they
trained.
shouldn't have. I know.
You are
but
trained.
Be a police officer for a second.
You are trained.
Be a police officer.
You are trained.
Now, the woman that that thought she was grabbing a taser and it was actually the gun. That's a whole nother story. So
No,
I
you
get
just don't
that,
jump
but
out
I'm
the
just
car.
saying.
You jump out the
well,
car and just start shooting.
And
And that's what you
We're
don't
going to
do.
talk about this some more, but here's the thing with the taser and the gun. 3 shots. The first shot should have told you that wasn't a taser. What was the extra 2
And
shots
that's
for?
my point. So that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's a
but
whole nother conversation.
and I just say that so not to be one sided, but to be the voice of the people
Right.
too, from a different perspective. If I was a police officer and we don't know the details of this yet
Yeah.
because it's too soon. But I don't know what she had waving it around. If she had anything, we
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
that's the
yet.
sketchiness.
So,
They don't know what
yeah,
it
we
was.
really
It
can't.
was said it was a knife, but there's no
That's what I'm
definitive
saying.
proof or whatever.
yeah,
So,
we have
You
to
didn't
wait
have
a
no
little
body
bit
cam
to
on?
talk about that.
it's too early to release. They don't release that till after the investigation.
Yeah. So besides that, because we know it's just going to be
Yeah.
ongoing and it's going to be talked about and people going to get tired of it being on the TV. I mean, just because,
Yes.
it is what it is. But, again, I say I'm pleased with
I am
the
pleased.
way that
Thus
the
far.
verdict.
Let's see
So-
where it goes from here.
Absolutely. So moving on in the news, let's just say inside Fort Wayne, what's going on locally in our community? Anything?
Well, bummer, Clarence. For the second year in a row, German Fest canceled.
Oh no.
However, I did find some information that they are doing drive-through dinners.
The German Fest.
Saturday, June 12th, from 12 to 5 p.m. at a couple different locations. So they're hoping.
The best part of it, you ain't gonna
Right.
be able to do.
I was
Right.
about
What
to
is that?
ask. Are they, do you get drive-through
110?
beer too?
That
That's what
wasn't
he's talking about.
listed. The beer wasn't
Drive-through
listed.
beer. Are they gonna let you get drive-through
'Cause
beer?
you know they popped the what's
The
the name?
keg.
The keg. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh
They
my
gonna let
God.
me get drive-through beer? That's a setup. That sounds like a setup to me.
all day long and twice on Sunday.
Okay, go ahead, drive through beer, and then you're talking about the popo.
right across
Right behind
Right
you.
across
all
the
they gonna
street.
do
Right.
is just direct you right
That's
across
all.
the street.
Right, that's it. That sounds like
right.
a setup to me.
Now so Jill, you said that. Now some other things that's going on, I'll say this weekend or even tomorrow or Thursday is the Fame. So at the Grand Wayne Center. So that's April 22nd through the 25th. And then we have the bridal for the brides out there, the bridal extravaganza. So this is a nice weekend to go pick out and just shop for wedding gowns at the Grand Wayne Center. So, oh yeah.
Right.
Now-
Well, I don't know why you acting like that.
Because you just like, oh,
I was.
She might be going shopping. You got something to tell us, Doc V?
I mean, yeah.
You got to
I'm
see.
saying for all the beautiful brides.
I mean, you guys.
You was all
like,
happy. You got something to tell us, Doc V?
Good.
But Doc V,
I curse you.
Yeah.
let's
Don't act like that.
but Doc V, the fame, isn't that like where you go see what schools have to offer, different schools have to offer for Fort Wayne Community Schools? Isn't that what the fame is?
We need to look that up and see.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say what it is.
I
and
just
then
I
miss.
remember it. You know, that's what it was.
I
And I
thought
was
that's
just.
what it was.
I just think we need to-
Where's that, Northrop?
I just think we need to go to.
It's at the Grand Wayne Center.
Is that the Grand Ranch?
But they used to have, traveling. They move it to different sites. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we need to check it out.
Yeah.
Fort Wayne Children's Zoo, April 24th. So that opens up this year. That's always a fun place to
Are we
go.
gonna have snow
I
there?
enjoy.
Now,
I enjoy.
I
the
was
zoo.
just getting ready to
Are
say
we gonna
that.
have snow there?
I hope not. I absolutely hope not.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say. So, do you actually go to the zoo?
I love
Jill?
the
said,
zoo.
So you make that a thing like every year.
Yep. I absolutely love going to the
You don't
zoo.
go to the zoo?
I love.
No,
going to
I
the zoo.
said I like going to
I
the
go.
zoo. too.
I like going to the zoo. I like going. At most cities that I visit, I try to go visit their zoo.
Yeah, I think of it as like all ages. I mean, I used to push Macy around in a stroller when she was a baby, and now that she's older, she likes to do. Except for she likes to do that sky ride, which is like, I don't do that. I
You
watch
scared?
from the bottom.
You scared?
That thing's hanging on by a couple screws. So
I'm
anyway,
with you on that one.
So, yeah.
Oh,
So
don't
anyway,
scared.
that opens up.
I'm scared.
I am. Absolutely am.
Right. What else is going on? What if you are into sports? Anything fun going on for the guys in sports?
I know the 10 caps start, I think, next week.
Next week, yeah.
I don't know. What about wrestling? Are you guys into that at all?
I'm not a big wrestling fan.
Okay. Well, I know they have some wrestling going on
Well,
Saturday at the Coliseum.
We're talking WWE.
The Heroes wrestling.
Yeah, that's the
my
older
goodness.
people. Well,
Yeah.
not WWE wrestlers. They have that annually, but I don't know what time it is right now because we lost a little track of time. But if it's after 8:00 or 8:30, Frank the Ghost Martin is fighting right now. If he hadn't knocked the guy out, or he might be the main event. It's on Fox Sports 1.
Okay.
Frank Martin is from here, from Fort Wayne, and so he's boxing. He's undefeated thus far, and so I don't know if he's the main card or whatever. I know the fight started about 8 or 8:30ish, and it's on Fox Sports 1. So if you're watching it, after you get through listening to us,
Yeah,
go
he's
tune
probably
in and make sure that the fight is going
Knocked
on.
out right about
yeah.
now.
That's what's up. We got a hometown.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen him fight a couple of times. He can fight. He really can.
Yes, definitely. Well, I don't know about the boxing and all of that, but I don't know what y'all got into this weekend. But I actually went to the Home and Garden Show. Anybody else?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh wow, it wasn't me. It was so fun.
I think a lot of people did go because it was packed. I
It
mean, around the
was.
area and everything. I think that's always a
enjoyed
popular.
myself.
And how
popular
did they
event.
manage the crowds?
I mean, people had on masks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was just nice.
Did you get you
I
some
mean,
flowers?
Well, I shopped a little bit.
Did you get you some flowers?
Yeah, I
In the
got
front
some.
yard?
I got some
Got some
things.
petunias and all that.
And I actually think that, that's why I asked how the crowds is, because I think it's about time we move past, the COVID scare.
Yeah,
and all
we
of
want
that.
to,
think
but I mean, we got to still be careful.
I'm not saying not be careless. I said we start to, put in place to move forward.
Right. Now, let me just ask y'all this real quick before we get out of here and we wrap things up. When you were talking about COVID and things like that, have anybody heard about the movie theaters? Are they thinking about opening them back up? Or
I don't know if
we
you can
just-
open it, but for $200 you can rent them.
Yeah, right.
You can rent.
You
for
can rent the
$200
theater?
You can rent the theater for $200.
Hey, that's not
Wow.
for how many people?
That's kind of cool for a family.
I think up to 2025 at the time,
Yeah, I
but
saw
I don't
that
know.
too.
I don't know what it is now.
Yeah.
But for $200 you can rent the theater.
Hey, man, that
Okay.
would be dope to have.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that would be nice.
Okay, so now anything good going on in the as far as celebrities and things like that we can talk about?
We're gonna hit this real quick, then we're gonna move on. Now, if you are a Nike connoisseur, if you're a Kobe shoe fan, you have up to midnight to get all the Kobe shoes you want, because their deal with Nike, Vanessa Bryant is not signing a deal with Nike anymore. So,
Boss lady.
right, she said she didn't like the way Nike was handling Kobe shoes, this or the other, the limitations that they were having. So, to my understanding, and I don't know until the deal is done or is over what's going to happen, but Kobe shoes will be their own brand now. So,
Wow.
and
Wow.
Interesting.
The Kobe brand.
yeah,
That would
I don't know if it's going to be the Kobe brand, but I just know they're going to be their own brand, separate from Nike, if they continue the shoe line.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's gonna hurt Nike because they don't have Jordan anymore. I think LeBron is the only line that they have. So
Well, I mean, that was coming.
LeBron come up with 30 pairs of shoes in 1 year.
First to Satan shoes, now this.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else, you guys?
Well,
Anything
before
else
we-
amazing besides Michael B. movie coming out? Or
Oh, Mortal Kombat come out Friday, I think.
Right.
Mortal
Oh,
Kombat.
Friday.
You gotta go see Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
ever play a video game?
Finisher.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Now,
but
my
it-
game was Pac-Man and Centipede.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat. That,
And so somebody's like, dang, she old.
yeah. Yeah. We got
Y'all
some
look
laughter in the
up.
peanut gallery there, and they're
Look, I'm
laughing.
like, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we get out of here, we talked about the George Floyd and we talked about what's next. But here's what it is. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. And then we say, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For that to be true, we have to unite first as a culture, then as a people. Because if we don't stop it, it's going to continue. We have to find a way to unite as a culture first and foremost, and then as a people to stop police killing black, white, young, old, whatever. Us killing each other. We have to stop and just unite.
That's right. Well, with that being said, we do have to unite. And that's why we're here, Neutral Voices, for the community. Join us tomorrow for our Wednesday live show.
Yes.
And don't forget to click like and share.
Right.
Yes. And follow us on YouTube. Thank you so much. This is Neutral Voices. See you next time.
Time for sleeping on the issues. This is Neutral Voices. We gon' deal with the issues.